I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of the On Purpose Woman Global Community's Connection Over Coffee gathering. Tara DeLeon is speaking on how to improve your body image. Tara is a master personal trainer who helps people learn to move their bodies in a way that feels good to them and feel badass and confident by teaching them to lift weights, to take up space, and to stop apologizing for their bodies. As an author, speaker, podcaster, college professor, and coach, Tara works with people to improve their fitness, body confidence, health, and well-being. You can find out more about Tara on her Instagram, which is also in the text of this video. Tara, thank you so much for being with us. I'm so looking forward to what you have to say today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you're on.
Great. So there's two statements that I love about body image, and they're both quotes that you've probably heard before, but I think they bear repeating on a regular basis. The first is that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent, right? It's up to you what your emotions do there. So if someone says something about you or about your body, that makes you feel a certain kind of way, that's acceptable. But remember that it's up to you whether you really internalize that or whether you let it just kind of flow out of your mind. And the second thing I like to remind people is that your appearance is the least interesting thing about you. You guys are awesome and interesting, right? You're fascinating human beings. You're capable. You're smart. You're amazing. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. That is literally the least interesting thing about you. So when I talk about body image, I like to give a couple of statistics because I think that everyone who shared earlier in our breakout rooms felt like their story was unique, right? And it was, of course, but I think all of us can relate to that. And here's a couple statistics that kind of show that. So research has shown us that 50% of 13-year-old girls are unhappy with their body. 50%. But the really scary thing is that number jumps to 80% by the time they're 17 years old. 80% of girls are unhappy with their body. 80% of them also report fear of becoming fat, as if that is the worst thing that anyone could be. In fact, more women, teenagers included, are scared of becoming fat than they are of public speaking or death. Is that mind-blowing to you? To me, that's mind-blowing. 53% of adolescents who believed they weren't thin enough or might get too fat actually exhibit clinically significant symptoms of body dysmorphic disorder. And there was a study done in Germany not long ago where 1/3 of women perceived a BMI of less than 18 to be the ideal female body size. A quick note about BMI, guys. BMI is trash. If you're not familiar with BMI, it's horrible. It was actually invented in like the 1700s by a guy named Queyle. And he eliminated anyone who was sick or weak or of a frail mind, and he only did the research on white males. So why our medical system has decided to use the BMI as like the gold standard for everything is absolutely beyond me. But in this case, a BMI of 18 is considered very underweight. And this is what the women in that study were thinking was, ideal. So it is obvious to me that women are struggling. I would actually think that all people are struggling, but for today, we're talking mostly about women, with our body image and our weight and weight stigma. For example, there was a study of 160 African American women. 47% were dissatisfied with their body image, and 30% wouldn't even get in a bathing suit because they thought they were too yucky. to wear a bathing suit in public. Guys, like swimming and being at the beach and enjoying the ocean are like some of life's greatest pleasures, and people are missing out on it because they're concerned about what other people might think they look like in a bathing suit. Right? Think about that for a minute. I'm sure that's very relatable to you, like who hasn't had this thought at some point in our life, right? You know, I also wear a bikini, and as a plus size woman, I get lots of looks like, and people often tell me that I'm brave. Like, you're so brave for wearing that. And I'm like, I'm brave for wearing a bathing suit at the beach. This is crazy. That's not at all like a revolutionary idea. But the diet culture society that we live in is so strong that things like that are now being considered brave. So today we're going to talk about body image. We're going to dive into some of the factors that affect our body image, and we're going to talk about how we can kind of improve it. There's a lot of things we can do, and a lot of it takes a lot of work. And then I'm going to give you some resources on where you can go for more if you feel like you would like to do that. So, improving body image is important for your well-being because a healthy body image affects everything. It improves our emotional and mental health, it improves our self-esteem, even our physical health, our quality of life, and our resilience. Um, you know, body image is all about the perceptions and feelings we have about our own body. Um, and it's really impacted by media, social media, and society. We've done tons of research on social media, and we know that people spend time on social media and then they feel worse about themselves, their bodies, and their lives. So I love social media. I use it a lot for spreading my message, but I fully recognize that a lot of harm can be done by spending time on social media. Before social media even existed, we had a lot of research that would show us that when we would read fashion magazines, we would close the magazine and feel worse about ourselves. So this is not a new phenomenon. It's just the method of delivery is new. And I think it's a little bit scarier now because, you know, in the olden days, we would read our magazine and the magazine would come out once a month, and then we would put it down and we'd be done with it for the next 29 days. Social media is every day, and it's most of the time every hour, right? Like people are on their phones a lot. And when we start comparing everyone else's highlight reel with our behind the scenes real life messiness, it can definitely affect our body image. Not to mention, I'll give you an example. I posted a video on, or a quote on Instagram a couple days ago that said, friendly reminder, no matter how much you weigh, you have worth and value. Not controversial, in my opinion. Like, of course we all have worth and value, right? We're human beings. We're innately worthy and valuable. Um, and many of the comments on that were like, oh no, I would never listen to anything that you have to say because you are overweight and you should be moving your body and exercising more and you should be on a diet. And I was kind of like, what? Who said anything about what I look like? I'm just saying that all people have value. And things like that are so common on social media because we're faceless, right? We have the, you know, anonymity to post things that we would normally never say to someone's face. And it happens on social media all the time. I think particularly if you live in a larger body, it is very common, and people feel like they can say things like this to you out of like concern for your health, right? We all know that nobody on Instagram is concerned for my health, but they just felt like they had to share things like that. So, you know, receiving messages like that over and over and over obviously are going to affect body image, right? Jenny, when she introduced me, said that I'm a personal trainer, and I feel as though I've kind of become the face of plus size personal trainers. It is very controversial for me to even exist as a plus size personal trainer. And I actually like it because I know that there are so many smart people out there that are in larger bodies that want to work in fitness, and they may feel like they don't deserve to be there, or that they, should pick a different career. Like, what could they possibly know about health and fitness if they themselves are in a larger body? And I'm very far along in my body image healing journey. Like, I think I'm awesome, even if nobody else does. So for me to be able to kind of like take the heat and break through that barrier, is really rewarding for me. But it didn't happen overnight, right? We all live in a society of diet culture. Diet culture, for those of you who are not aware, is a system of beliefs that equates physical appearance and body shape with moral value, virtue, and health. So it promotes weight loss as a form of achieving status, values certain ways of eating over others, and devalues bodies that don't fit the image of health. So we see this all the time in society. When we go to the doctor, for example, and they mention our BMI, like that is an example of diet culture, because we know that BMI is not actually based on any sort of sound science, and yet society is using it as if it were. Right? If you want to improve your BMI, you could cut your leg off, and technically you would be a healthy BMI at that point. But I think all of us that have brains would argue, ah, probably we're a little healthier if we have both of our appendages so that we can move our bodies and live our lives, right? Diet culture manifests itself in the New Year's, right? New Year's resolutions, New Year, new me, where old you is perfectly fine, right? We don't always have to be striving to change your body's shape and appearance, right? That's not the important part. The important part is actual health, right? Maybe you start moving your body a little bit more because you want to make sure your cholesterol is good and your blood sugars are good, and that your mental health is improved, regardless of what your body looks like. I think that with diet culture, we get kind of caught up in the shoulds. We like should all over ourselves rather than just accepting, that we are inherently worthy no matter what. I think food is a really like hot topic of, well, we have good foods and bad foods, right? We've assigned morality to food, like fruits and vegetables are good and they will get us into heaven, and cakes and cookies, they are definitely bad and we should never be eating those, right? But the reality is it's all just food. I personally believe that all foods can exist in your diet. And I think that tuning into your hunger and fullness cues, tuning into your cravings, and then getting curious about, why am I hungry? Why am I craving this thing? I think that is like a whole other aspect of body image that can be really super helpful to people, rather than eliminating entire food groups, or eliminating, like, I never eat cake, for example. Often this just leads to like more disordered eating. And then when we feel like we've failed at something, then our body image goes down, 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 right? Because now we can't even stick to a simple diet of eating not cake, right? So all of this, is intertwined, and we consider all of it to be diet culture. Now, I'm not sitting here saying like you shouldn't care at all about your health and go and do whatever the things are that you want. And if you die, you die, right? That's not the message here. I do think that people should try to be healthy, just because it's going to make your life a little bit more satisfying. If you've ever been sick, you probably remember that the only thing that really matters to you when you're sick is not feeling like that anymore, right? You just want to be healthy and nothing else really matters. So I do think it's super helpful to move your body in a way that feels good to you. I think it's really super helpful to eat a wide variety of foods. I think it's really helpful to manage your stress and get enough sleep and to find hobbies that are fulfilling to you. What I don't believe is that you have to kill yourself in the gym and that you can only eat certain foods and that you need to get up early for your workout, even if you went to bed late the night before, because it is priority number one. I think there's like a larger approach to all this that we should zoom out and look at this. So, assuming that you're on board with getting to anti-diet culture, and living in a space where you don't let diet culture kind of like control your life, let's talk about how to improve your body image. So first thing is positive self-talk and self-compassion. I think we're really hard on ourselves just in general. Like I know I am. And it's taken me a lot of years to be like okay with who I am and how I look, right? But I want you to imagine the next time you're feeling some kind of way about your body, I want you to imagine that your best friend is saying those things to you about her, right? Let's do an example like, oh, I hate that my thighs rub together when I walk. Like, ugh, I'm super gross, right? P.S. guys, by the way, your thighs probably should rub together when you walk. They're like big muscly things that carry your body all over the place. Like they're not going to be small. They're muscular. Um, but if your bestie said that to you, you would probably say something like that. You'd be like, your thighs look great. Your legs are important. They help you live your life the way you want to. Who cares if they rub together a little? Oh, it bothers you? It hurts? Like, let's get you longer shorts or try some, body glide in between there, right? We wouldn't go like, oh, you're right. You're disgusting. I can't believe you live like that. We wouldn't do that. So imagine talking to your bestie about your body image issues, and that will kind of help you switch that negative self-talk for the positive. I also recommend curating your media. So on social media, we see all the time that certain accounts will pop up and they'll be promoting weight loss or they'll be promoting, change within your own body in a way that may not feel good to you. It's really easy for me when I encounter like yucky comments on the internet because I've curated my social media feed to get rid of anything that's going to make me feel like I'm lesser than. So I would challenge all of you to look at your social media next time you're scrolling. And if you find particular accounts that make you feel lesser than or unworthy, unfollow that. You have the option there. I also think that like a really, really great way to build body image is to do cool stuff with your body. So I firmly believe that you cannot have a bad day when you've gone to the gym and lifted really heavy weight, and just know that you're an absolute badass. Like you're gonna go out in the world and carry that with you for the rest of the day or several days even. So I very much recommend doing hard things with your body, whether it's weightlifting, whether it's yoga. One time when I was in college, I went to college in Hawaii and there were these islands about a mile and a quarter offshore. My friends and I swam to the islands and back just like on a whim. We were like, this sounds fun. Let's do that. And then after we got back, people were like, oh my God, did you swim out there? That is like a known tiger shark breeding ground. You should not swim in those waters. And we were like, ooh, well, we did. And so now when I am feeling like my body isn't performing the way I would like it to, or doesn't look the way I would like it to, I draw on that. And I'm like, you swam to the Mokalua Islands. For heaven's sakes, you can do this. Right? And it's like this mantra that I have to help me with my body image. Um, you can't hate your body into loving yourself. So body image is a really important part of our self-care journey. It's a really important part of our self-love. Um, I think that by moving our body in ways that feel good to you, by talking kindly to yourself, by curating your social media and setting realistic goals that are process-based, not product-based, right? A process-based goal would be like going to the gym twice a week. A product-based goal would be lose 20 pounds, right? We want to focus on building the habits, not on what the result will be. The results will come. If you do the habits, the results will follow. So, doing things like that and being mindful and practicing gratitude, having positive influences, all going to help with your body image. So, last but not least, I would love to leave you with a couple of resources. So I wrote a book recently called Hot Mess to Hot Mom, Transformational Tools for Thriving After Childbirth and Beyond. And in the book, I did a chapter on body image, and I left the chapter with a whole bunch of tools and mantras that you can use when you're having a bad body image day. Now, mantras aren't going to fix everything, right? But if you can remind yourself that your appearance is the least interesting thing about you, or that, your track record of surviving hard things is 100%, right? It's going to help. So if you want more resources, this is a good resource for you. I also host a podcast called Wellness Rebranded. And Elizabeth Harris is a dietitian, and Maria Winters is a mental health therapist. And of course, I'm a personal trainer. And the three of us talk about what is actual wellness and what's diet culture run amok. So if you are interested in learning more about body image and intuitive eating and moving your body in a way that's going to make you feel better and improving your actual health, checking out the podcast is highly, highly, highly recommended, because we talk a lot about that kind of thing. In closing, I would just like to remind you that your body is inherently good. Your body does amazing things. Anytime I get down on my body, I kind of make a checklist of like all the awesome stuff my body's done in my life. And I've like run a marathon. I've done a triathlon. I grew an entire human and then birthed him over a period of 30 hours and then created food for him with my own body. Right. I held my dad's hand as he took his last breath. I've cooked millions of meals. I've worked countless hours. I've lifted like hundreds of thousands of pounds of weight. I've done like billions of steps, and guess what? Your bodies have all done very similar things, right? Your bodies are amazing. So if you can just take those things that your body has done and remind yourself when you're feeling lesser than, or that your body is unworthy of wearing a bathing suit, right? It's very easy to remember that like you're freaking awesome and your body has done incredible things and you are a valuable human. So, in conclusion, I am always open for discussions, for support, even if somebody like fat shames you on the internet and you just want somebody to commiserate with you about how much the world sucks sometimes, like, please reach out to me. I'm active on Instagram and Facebook, or you can, email me. My contact info, I'm sure, will be here somewhere. And, or you can reach out to me about the podcast. I would love to chat and commiserate and, collaborate on stuff. So please reach out. I'm a wealth of knowledge and I love supporting other women, especially. So thank you so much.
Wow, Tara, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are awesome. Love your information. And I'm going to ask the ladies who are here with us in Zoom today to unmute yourselves. Give you a second to do that. And let's just cheer and applaud our speaker today, Tara, for her amazing.
Good
job.
Woohoo.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Thank you so much. And I want to thank anyone who's watching this either live or the replay on our YouTube channel. If you want information about the On Purpose Women Global Community, go to my website, which is also in the text of this video. Be sure to check out Tara's Instagram account, and we will add some other things. As soon as this video is up, we will add some other ways to get in touch with her, including the link to her book and all of that other stuff. So thanks again for watching.